What's up, everybody? We're live. Give me a second. Let me share that we're live, and I'll be with you guys. One more minute. All right. Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm a couple minutes later today. The past couple days have just been crazy. So let's take a look at what's going on here. I did have my coffee this morning. I'm a little less cranky than I was yesterday. Got a little more sleep than I did the night before, but not as great. But that's all right. We push through it, right? All right, guys. So let's take a look here. The market up a little bit choppy, as you can see. Maybe a little indecision candle here right now. We'll have to see what happens at the open and throughout the morning. Resistance levels between that 27.94 to 27 or 28.09 area. So you can see getting near some potential resistance. Here's some support. Prices in between support and resistance. For those that are following us and that continue to follow us, you are going to get sick of me you're going to get sick of hearing me say support and resistance. I'm going to drill it into your heads until you dream about hearing support and resistance in patterns and candlesticks and what those patterns are, because that is everything to trading. Nothing else matters other than support and resistance. Don't try to find the newest indicator. The indicators don't matter. Support and resistance matters. Patterns, candlesticks, candlestick form patterns. Those patterns form support and resistance. If you're new and you're listening, do not trade ever with real money until you know support and resistance and until you've been a successful paper trader. I will say that over and over. All right, so let's get into things here, guys. So again, we're going to continue with the trend yesterday and kind of moving forward of just slowing things down for you guys and showing you, again, patterns, support and resistance, and how to slow day trading down. We love trade ideas. We love it. They're the best scanner out there on the planet. But again, if you're new, you're never going to be able to trade a stock that goes parabolic on trade ideas ever until you know these patterns. So that's what we're going to do, is just keep slowing things down. Our watch list really slows things down because people aren't really looking at many of the stocks on the watch list from the night before. They're looking at what's hitting trade ideas in the morning. And then you have all the competing companies, all the longs and the shorts, all the big names that are competing for that first few minutes or right when the bell opens with those trade idea scans. And they go super volatile and super quickly. And they're not watching many of the times our watch list ones, because our watch list ones may have had their news yesterday or the day before, and now there might be a continuation day. But our watch list always consistently has a 10, 15, a 20 cent mover, or a 30 cent or a 40 cent mover, and we can slow it down and find these patterns. Super, super important. So we're still going to keep trade ideas up. We're going to look at it, but we're going to really zone in and slow it down and see, hey, if something doesn't move on a watch list, then we don't trade it. If it does, great. Yesterday was great. Yesterday had over 3 of them over 50-cent moves, which were phenomenal. Today, I don't know what's going to happen. We might have some great ones. There might be duds. You know, we've had over an 80% success ratio since we've started doing these trade alerts. Our worst week was 80%. So that means usually there's something that's moves. So that being said, let's take a look at what we're going to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at AXON. That has a ton of volume. This might be a continuation from yesterday. And this thing, obviously, this is hitting trade ideas and was on our watch list. So there's going to be volatility on this thing, right? 607 pre-market high. See if it can continue and go up. Obviously, there is a gap between this 810 area right here. Gap on the daily way up here. So who the heck knows what's going to do with this? This one's going to be volatile. It's either going to go up or down. So you got to watch these areas. This is definitely one to keep an eye on, so we'll have to see what happens with AXON. Big mover yesterday. ANW, this has some volume right here. And with this one, we were looking at, again, price is oversold. See if the buyers come back in, can get it above that 123 marker, and can continue. It's in this gap. There's obviously going to be some volatility. Can, pot stock, pump and dump. These things might be getting a pump. Obviously going to be one to watch. See if it can get above that pre-market high of that 428 and continue. That might be a fun one to watch. Again, pump and dump. Wouldn't hold that long term. This is a garbage company. You're welcome, Barry. Keep drinking. Barry has a thing that whenever I say garbage, he takes a drink. I don't know if he's taking a drink, but if he is, we'll get him drunk right now. Garbage. HTBX, want to see if there's a continuation. You can see it's a kind of another pump and dump. See if we can get above $3. A little bit choppy right now, not doing much, so we'll, keep that sidebar. HTBX. Cron, another pot stock. Right here, wanted to see it continue on this double dot bottom or kind of a triple bottom, continue above $8. You can see it's getting above $8 this morning, trading sideways, so it's one to definitely keep an eye on. Again, and then let's take a look at ACBFF, another pot stock. Again, Canadian one, a little bit of volume pre-market. Want to see it get above $8. Again, I'm going very quickly on these for you guys, but that's all right because we're going to focus on them at the open, and just we're gonna focus on our watch list, right? We're not going to rush. We're going to slow it down. We're not going to get distracted by all the stocks that are hitting on the scanners. We're not going to get distracted, right? You're new. You're going to slow it down. You're not going to be like, oh my God, the latest mover, that just went up $3. You're never going to be able to hold a stock for $3 if you're new, if you can't make 10 cents. You need to be able to make 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents before you're going to ever be able to make $1, $2, or $3, right? So don't get distracted by the $2 and $3 and parabolic movers until you can get consistent making 10 cents, 15 cents, cutting your losses at 5 cents, 6 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents. Not at 20 and 50 and $1, right? Managing your risk, slowing it down, and that's what we're going to focus on. Slowing down day trading for you. And if something's there to trade, we trade it. If there's not, we don't. So at this point, I'm going to move my charts here. Again, you don't want to panic at the market open. Let things shake out. Let the patterns form, right? Don't get distracted by somebody saying they just made a crap ton of money by getting in and out of a stock within 15 seconds. If you're new, you're not going to be able to do that. It's going to take time, It takes a lot of time. Hold on one second. So let's put CAN up over here, CANN. That's a pump and dump pot stock. Garbage company, but might be, might have some volatility. It's bull flagging right here. See if it can get above 430 and continue. And let's put up AC. What's the other one I want to look at right now? AXON is starting to fail. So Cron is the other one I want to look at right now. We want to find patterns, guys, right? Super important. So again, we're just going to slow it down. We're going to talk, right? We're not going to rush. We're going to look here. We see a bull flag on a stock. Again, Can is a pump and dump marijuana stock. It's going to show some volatility. You want to see it go above that 430 area. Right here, Cron is another marijuana stock. You can kind of see it's doing maybe a cup and a handle potentially. It has to get above that 818 area. And it's very important if you're new to let things shake out. You know, you're not going to get in. Like, again, David loves hotkeys. David is a guy that will pop in the trade room and he'll get in and out in 5 or 10 or 15 seconds. And that's great. That's his trading style. And you can make really good money that way. But if you're new, you know, you're not going to be able to bang on a hotkey in 10 seconds and make money without panicking. You want to just slow it down, find these patterns. And if the patterns don't show up, then you don't trade. So right now, guys, I have a 5-minute chart up for each of these because I'm just letting these patterns form. And then if the pattern presents itself, then we may drill down, or we'll drill down into the 1 minute for a potential entry, right? And so right now, I can look over to the left of my screen and I can see Trade Ideas is popping off lots of stocks, right? Now, Dan, again, we say this to you guys, there's all different styles of traders. Dan loves taking something that hits Trade Ideas, those parabolic movers, get in, get out. David loves doing that. My style, I like to slow it down, let things play out, and let the patterns form. I'm not a chaser, right? So if these that we're looking at don't, you know, move, we'll go and look at something on Trade Ideas. We have a trade room, right? So if you're following us, we have several of them. We have a day trade room, a swing trade room, and a futures room. So I'm slowing things down, but David or other people might be in there talking about something right now that's hitting Trade Ideas. So if you're on YouTube and you're following us and you're like, hey, this guy's annoying, I want to go get in and get out really quickly and be done with my day, go talk to people in the trade room, right? Lots of action going on. We're only $10 a month. So at this point right now, Can isn't doing much of anything. It is kind of bouncing, but as you can see at this point, 430 is a very important area of resistance that price needs to go and break above. It's not doing anything right now. Cron, indecision, it's not breaking above this 818. Pre-market high is resistance. You have a cup and a handle pattern that price needs to break above, and it's kind of just trading sideways. Can is pulling back. It doesn't mean it won't go up. Got to watch the pattern form. Again, take it slow, no rush. I'm looking at the other ones from our watch list as well. And right now, not really. It's just kind of going slow, not doing much. But what you'll see if you're new is as the market opens, so if something runs, you know, one of these might go and they might take off, right? But some of them might take 10, 15, 20 minutes or a half hour. Be patient, right? You know, if you don't have that patience, do a Trade Idea scan, scalp, get in, get out. There's nothing wrong with that. But you have to be able to teach yourself patience and discipline. So at this point right now, Cron, you can see this cup and kind of handle, it's now touching support. And it's looking like it's failing. Now this orange dotted line is previous close. That is a very important support area. You're going to watch and see, is it going to fail support and be bearish, or is it going to bounce and form a pattern and potentially go up? You can see right here, they're both kind of bearish right now, both on Can and Cron. And you can see it's starting to fail support right here, right now. And right over here, price is touching support. So at this point, it's bearish. It doesn't mean it won't continue. We have to see if there's a reversal that's going to go up, if there'll be a pattern that shows a reversal, or if it's going to fail and just be a bearish day. Again, nobody can predict what a stock is going to do. The best traders in the world can't do that. Nobody can. You have to use these charts and patterns to your advantage. And right now, everything's looking kind of bearish right now. So you can say, well, this is kind of annoying. Why is... So a very simple like newbie question, right, would say, why is everything bearish and not looking great right now? And you can say, well, let's look at a futures chart. And you can see over here, I'll move my screen. Here's a futures chart, right? Look at the futures. It's trading sideways, and it's right near previous close. Indecision, and this indecision on the futures is going to cause indecision with stocks. The market you need it to choose a direction, up or down, and then these stocks go, usually run in that direction, up or down. If it trades sideways the market, then it becomes choppy. Now, Cron, failing support. Can, failing support. So, let's talk about some things. If you have a day or days that become bearish days, there's a couple things you can do. Number one, you can short stocks, or number two, you can dip buy, right? Dip buy is buying at support levels and then selling near resistance levels, right? Shorting is selling at resistance levels and covering at support levels. Now, the trick with that, obviously, with shorting is you need a good broker that allows you the ability to short. Thinkorswim, we love their charting platform. Their shorting availability sucks. Eventually, we'd like to use our group clout someday to get together with Thinkorswim and say, hey, wake up, get better shorting availability, and then nobody would leave you. But at this point, their shorting availability is terrible. Interactive brokers, really good. You need at least a minimum of $10,000 to open an account. But if you want to be able to trade unlimited, you need at least $25,000 in your account to avoid the pattern day trading rule. And most newbies don't have at least $25,000 in an account. So that's where we would look at something like dip buying. You can see this, stocks falling, look for them to find support, and then possibly buy in a reversal on the way up for a scalp. This one right here, Cron, is completely dumping. The pattern is terrible right now. Can, a little bit slower. We can watch and wait and see if there's a possible reversal for a dip buy. This one, Cron, much more difficult. Can at this point, maybe there'll be one. And everything is bearish right now on my watch list. So we may, at some point, we'll shake it out a little bit. We may look over and see on a scanner if there's something to possibly look at. So James is saying OPHT bull flag. So now we can say, okay, everything, right? The watch list is looking really bad right now. It's looking ugly. So what we'll do is we'll let these play out and we'll pull up some on Trade Ideas and see. OPHT. James was talking about it in the Trader on bull flag. So here you go. OPHT hits Trade Ideas. It breaks a pre-market high here of 345. High of day is 375. Huge candlesticks. Now again, you got to watch a pattern, right? You got to be careful with these ones. Many a time you want to see a bull flag area for an entry and see. Sometimes you got to catch the right entry. And some of these on these bigger parabolic movers that move really quickly, you might only be able to trade them on a 1 minute. You might not get a chance on a 5 minute because they happen so quickly, right? Now, HTBX, that's from the watch list. I might want to pull that up in a second. The pattern, I'm letting it form. HTBX may be showing a potential reversal. It may be forming. We'll pull that up. This one right now, Can, is not showing something. So let me show you guys what I'm referring to. HTBX. All right. So now HTBX may, again, you got to watch this candle close here. Watch and see if there's a potential reversal, a dip buy, meaning like a, you know, if there's a 5-minute candle close here, if there's room to the EM. So for instance, if this forms a 5-minute candle close and you wanted to scalp something like this, you could find a support area like here, and then you would use these moving average lines on the way up as a resistance level, right? We're just going to let these patterns play out to see. Right here, OPHT on a 5-minute, it's bouncing around a little bit. And we'll just let these patterns play out and see what happens. Chaz is saying AXON coming back potentially. Maybe. It may be forming a reversal candle on a 5-minute. It's kind of developing. All right, so you can see there may be some buying coming in here, but you guys see how this movement happens, right? It goes up, and what did it do? Right off, you can see this blue line. This blue line is the 9 exponential, excuse me, the 9 exponential moving average. The red line is the, man, the 20 EMA, and the purple line is the 50 SMA. So these, and then the orange right here is previous close. These are all resistance levels. So when price starts to go up, these are areas of resistance that price, if you want it to continue, needs to go above, right? So you can see a support level right down over here, right in here, kind of in this area right here, right? You can see support here, resistance up in here. So that's where you start determining your risk management, you know, and you can see it's bouncing off these moving average lines. The patterns, you know, has to form for the reversal, but it's got a little bit of difficulty with these moving average lines. And so if you're playing the 5-minute candles, you need to let these patterns form. You could also switch to a 1-minute and look at a different story and make your trading decisions based upon that. I want to slow down to 5-minute for you guys, slow down day trading, show you guys these patterns, and then we look at the 1-minute when these patterns form for a potential entry. Right now, we're going to pull up again back to ACBFF. Now you can see here, price is selling off. Now you have potentially some buyers coming back in. It's a very choppy candle right now, that hive wave candle. A little bit more challenging, right? This one right here, it's maybe more, again, you want to see it kind of move above and get above these moving average lines. These candles right here, high wave candles, are very challenging to trade. But again, these candles right now are still forming. So at this point, this candle, the buyers started to come back in here, but now it's a tug of war between the bulls and the bears. See this candle wick and the shadow, the wicks and shadows here, lots of indecision. This one's very challenging. Price goes up, smacks off the moving average lines, rejects back down, indecision candle. This one right here, buyers came back in, pushed it right back up, and now there's indecision of, is this going to get over these moving average lines or is it going to fail, right? Support, resistance. So at this point, price needs to get above these moving average lines and ideally go what they call red to green, which is go from red on the day up here up to green above previous close and then continue forward, right? Now, Cron might be interesting to look at. Cron, you can see, if you're a newbie here, just try to show you guys. This right here is basically a double top pattern. Price had a high up here. You have a second high over here that couldn't break the first high. Now you have your neckline right here. This is a potentially, well, it became a bearish pattern, but it is a bearish pattern. When price starts failing here, now it's a double bottom. Now, at this point, the buyers have started to come back in down here. Now, you have resistance levels right here at these green dots at 782, which is VWAP, 788, 793. Again, this long 5-minute candle, very difficult for risk management, very big of a candle. So if you took a trade on this, which I would be very risky to because it's a big candle, you can get in at the break above this candle using a stop below this as your close, using these areas as profit level taking. But I wouldn't do that because you're going to risk so much over here to make less. Ideally, you'd want a smaller candle right here and then have price be away from these moving average lines, so you're risking a lot less than your ability to make. You always want to be able to have the ability to make more than you risk, right? So if you're risking 5 cents, you need to be able to make 10. If you're risking 10, you need to be able to make 20. And here, now price, you can see buyers came back in. Now it's going back up near high of day. And really at this point, you can see, look at that, this tiny little candle, that 292. Believe it or not, people will pay attention to it. So now price needs to get above previous close and can continue. Still very challenging. It's not really a great trade right now. This right now on Cron, not a great trade. And Can, we'll take a look at that one. Can, you have like 3 black crows here, right? And now buyers might be coming back in, pushing it up. So at this point, price needs to close above these moving average lines, get above previous close. If it can get above previous close, then it needs to go and break above that 430. This is a very, very important line. This orange dots, previous close, that would be a red to green move. Again, traders pay attention to that. Same thing here. You can see prices going up. It's still rejecting off these moving average lines. It's resistance. Price is moving up. It's rejecting off these moving average lines right now. Currently resistance. Price needs to break resistance over these moving average lines, previous close, to then continue and move up. All right, you guys seeing? I want to show you how these patterns move, right? So it's very simple for me. Again, I say it as a joke, but it's kind of how the industry standard is. You know, we're 20 minutes into the market, and I haven't showed any good trades, but a bunch of stuff is hitting trade ideas. So it's very easy to be like, oh, man, ABC company just went up $1 in 2 seconds with trade ideas. But if you're new, you're never going to be able to trade that until you're able to see how this movement works. You need to be able to find these patterns, find these bull flags, find ascending triangles, know what a head and shoulders is, cup and handle, all of those things, so that when you do hit a parabolic mover on trade ideas, you have to be able to know where to buy it. And right here, 5-minute candle, indecision, smack between the moving average lines, and it's having difficulty. This one right over here, right at the moving average lines, showing some difficulty. But now it's broaching previous close. Price needs to get above, hold before we potentially look at it. And for those, again, you guys that are watching, for those that like parabolic movers, that are comfortable, that want to talk to people, that are going through all of, trading parabolic movers, come and join our trade room. people are talking all morning long in here about lots of those movers, right? So if I'm boring you on the patterns, come and talk to people. They're talking all throughout the morning. We have our trade ideas screen up here, right over here. We give our trade ideas link free away for people to try. So if you want to see what's hidden trade ideas and going crazy, come over here, take a look at it, and chat with people. We have lots of great people in our community. James just said, Lucian, 2-to-1 risk ratio. I used it. It worked. Fantastic job, James. Love it. So at this point, right? So let's talk about this, right? I'm 22 minutes in. I'm trying to do a strategy to slow things down to show you guys. Things are looking really crappy right now on pretty much all of my picks today, of course. So then I could break my strategy. It's very easy for me to say, screw this, let me go look somewhere else, right? And then I could miss something on the watch list. Or I can stick to my strategy and say, nope, I'm not a parabolic mover trader. That's not my style. I like patterns. If there's a pattern, I'm going to potentially trade it. Or if nothing shows today and there's no pattern showing, screw it. I'm not going to trade today. I'm not going to do something that's against what I'm comfortable with, and I'm not going to blow up my account, right? David just says, best part about pattern trading starts at 10 a.m. Yeah, a lot of it, again, you got to let this market play out, right? The psychology. Think about things, guys. The whole market is a battle between the bulls and the bears, right? That's the buyers and the sellers, right? So what's going to happen is the bulls want to come in and come charging at market open. So they're looking at trade ideas saying, hey, what are the top gappers today? What can I go in and just rush and get a good trade on? The bears are saying, all right, let's take a look at what the bulls are going to do. And we're going to look at these patterns. And hey, if the bull, it's that tug, right? The tug of war. That tug of war forms the patterns, right? So the bulls are going to try to push that stock up. The bears are going to try and push it down. And that tug of war forms these candlesticks, which forms the patterns. And these traders need to see patterns to be able to say, okay, I might take a trade here. The pattern here on HTBX sucks. The pattern here on CAN sucks. The ones on our watch list right now are really crappy. There's tugs of war, and actually, probably most of the people are over on Trade Ideas battling it out. And then what will happen is you'll see something on our watch list, now or in a little bit, that will show a potential reversal where the shorts, it might be a good time to take a short or a time to then go long. Right now, it's just slowly playing the patterns out. I'm looking at really everything right now on our watch list, and it's just slowly grinding. If you look at one like HTBX, right? So this is where this was still not doing much. Let's take a look at A and W over here. A and W, you can kind of see a cup and a handle forming over here. You can see at the top of that cup, right around that 122-ish area is resistance. I was waiting to see if there's potential again. So right here, if there is a candlestick close that holds, it's still close to these moving average lines, right? So a little bit difficult. Cron, this is a good one to take a look at right now. So Cron, here we go. So this is where you have a broker that you ideally want to be able to short with, right? So at this point, Cron is forming a pattern that's looking like a bear flag, right? Price fails, moves back up to these moving average lines. This 9 EMA, the 20 up here is resistance. It's forming a nice looking bear flag, right? Look at this flag pattern here, right? It's not going to be perfect. It's kind of, these wicks really mess things up, but you can kind of see kind of a bear flag here, right? So now at this point, price has gone up. It's rejected the 9 EMA. It's rejected it here. Now you're seeing a bear flag. At this point, This is something where you might say, okay, if you're going short bias, I might look to short this. The problem, it's moving a little bit quickly right now. You'd probably have to look for your entry on a 1 minute, but if you're slowing it down on a 5, you can say, okay, rejection off the 9 here, rejection off the 9 here. Again, it's moving quickly. I wish it was going a little bit slower. Right over here, another one. Look at this, guys. Bear flag. You guys see this? Price is falling, moving back to the moving average lines, rejecting. This is where shorts come in and say, okay, I might look to short this down. I'll short near these moving average lines and then look near support levels to cover. Right? I still don't like how quickly this is moving on a 5 minute. But you can see, moved up over here. You could have, if you wanted to, on this one, taking a short as price starts falling below this green candle with a candle close above this as your stop. A little bit risky because you can see this green candle is 765 to 785. That's a 20-cent candle. I prefer to be at less, but if you were looking at this bear flag, you take a short below this candle using a close above that as your stop. I like smaller candles, but this is what a bear flag is. You look down and you can see support. If you shorted below 765 and look at a 742-ish area as a potential stop, now you're looking at a potential 20-cent gain. But look at here's risk management. I'm risking 20 cents on this candle to make 20 cents. That's not a 2 to 1 risk ratio. That's launch my language. That's a terrible risk ratio, right? You'd ideally want to risk 10 cents to be able to make 20. So could you make potentially 20 cents here? Sure, but you might be risking 20 cents to make that 20 cents, and that's not good odds. This right up here, what is this candle? 412 down to 405. Now you have, what is that? 7 cent candle. So this is a little bit more of better risk management, right? So you see this bear flag. If you were, I still don't love this one by any means. You can see price failed, move back up to the moving average lines, indecision doji, rejected off previous close. Now here is where you would come in and say, if you were going short right here, see that doji? You can take a short when price starts falling below this doji using a stop above as your close. So now you have a 7 cent candle. You have support down in these areas right down in here. So now you can say 405 down to 386. What is that? 20 cents? So now you're risking 7 cents to make potentially 20 cents or more. Really good risk management. You guys see these patterns? Bear flag. The best way, again, proper way, on a 5 minute, flag pulls back, take a short when it starts to fail below this flag or right up here in this channel, using a stop kind of up above this area here as your close. Same thing. Bear flag moves up. You know, when it starts to break that flag, you can, again, it gets a little trickier here. You want to take it near the moving average lines, or you can take it when price starts falling below the candlestick. Again, it's really kind of up to you. But you can see on these bear flag plays, if you were to go short, this is better risk management. You're taking it on a smaller candlestick rather than a big one. All right, so now going back to the watch list, AXON. Let's go over here, AXON. So I want to start, again, getting into teaching you guys shorting and also looking at dip buying. The dip buying opportunities today have not been good from the watch list, but there could have been a couple potential shorts. This is a decent potential short right here. You're a half hour into the market. You short below that doji here. You're risking 7 cents. And look on this candle here, 405. So before I go, let me look at AXON and then I'll go back over here. AXON on the watch list, hitting trade ideas, continuation day, right? Forming this cup. You get a candle close above the moving average lines. Still has this resistance level. And so right at this point, needs to get above $6, right? So going back over here to what we were talking about with CAN, here is, again, let's kind of zoom. I want to remove these drawings and do them again for you guys, right? Up here was high of the pre-market, right? 430. Market opens. This 5-minute candle failed the pre-market high. These two tops are equal tops. What are those two tops? What do those equal tops mean? That's called a tweezer top pattern. If you're like, what the heck is a tweezer top pattern? Come over to our candlestick, our advanced candlestick course. Right over in here, you're going to see down here, tweezer tops. Here's a picture, 2 candlesticks, equal high, potential reversal, right? Zoom in over here, tweezer tops, 2 candlesticks, potential reversal. Couldn't break this high, starts to fail. Now it forms these 3 red candlesticks. What are those 3 red candlesticks? Come over here. Look right over here. 3 red candlesticks down. 3 black crows. Bearish pattern. So those tweezer tops form the 3 black crows. Then you have this pattern form right here. It's not great. It's a little bit choppy, right? Kind of like this, right? What is this? 3 black crows, 3 kind of candlesticks up. It's a kind of a choppier, bull flag. It's not a perfect, or bear flag, I'm sorry. Bear flag pulls back to the moving average lines. This doji candle shows indecision. Stock doesn't know what it's going to do. Battle of the bulls and the bears. Rejects off those orange dotted lines. Previous close. Right between moving average lines. And then here you go. Now if you're a short, want to come in and take a short and your broker allows you, Interactive Brokers may have had, I'm not sure, I'm not logged in right now, a chance to short this. And at this point, that right here, see this candlestick? You can see clearly defined resistance at previous close. Take a short either below the break of this channel right here or below this candlestick here. Right below, take it down, 405, and you can see support from earlier intraday along these lines here. Right here, you can see a couple base here and down here. And 405, right down to, where did it go to? 387, right down to 381. Right? So if you were patient, what is it? 405 minus, what's this? 4.05 minus 3.81 equals, you made 24 cents on that trade. That is a phenomenal day trade. I would take 24 cents every day of the week. That's fantastic. 24 cents. If you had 1,000 share block, right? 1,000 times 1,000. That's a $240 day, right? Times 5 days a week is $1,200 a week. Times 52 weeks a year, that's a $62,000 year income. I want to show you guys that for a reason, because there are so many people and companies and gurus out there, and their goal each day is to make $1,000. Well, hey, that's a great day. $1,000 a day, right? 1,000 a day times 5 days a week is 5,000 a week, right? Times 52 weeks, you have a $260,000 income. Well, $260,000, who the heck doesn't want that over 62, right? Of course, we take that every day of the week. But if you can't make $62,000 a year trading, you're never going to be able to make $260,000. If you can't make $10,000 a year trading, you're not going to make $62,000. I show you this because this is very realistic, very attainable. A half hour into the market, you're new, let's say, you're not chasing those parabolic crazy movers. You let the market play out. Here's a pattern. Here's a 7-cent risk here, very minimal risk. You risk 7 cents to be able to make 24. Great risk management. I'm playing the patterns, and then you can be done for the day, right? So again, what's the right or wrong way to trade, right? If you want to be a David or a Dan or, get in and out of a hotkey super quick, be done in a minute, go do it, right? You want to make your 20 cents that way? Awesome. Again, very risky, right? At the market open, you might be trading and getting in and out of a 1 minute candle, and you might be able to make 20 cents, but you can easily lose 40 cents in seconds, if not a minute. But as long as you're able to manage your risk that way, fantastic way to trade. If you're new, I highly advise slow it down, look at the patterns, watch this happen. Again, so we had this on our watch list as a bullish play today. Well, guess what? It's bearish, right? But you could still trade it once you learn how to trade it both ways. And here's a bear flag. It's failing. All right, so that's right here for a can. Let's see if anything else I want to see from our watch list. I got our watch list today sucked. I gotta admit, this is awful. Oh man, these pot stocks. So this is another thing I want to talk to you guys about. I'm gonna go on my little rant. So if you see from our watch list today, we have Cron, ACBFF, and CAN. What are those three stocks? I'm going to show you guys. Cron, cannabis, ACBFF, cannabis, CAN, cannabis. What is the common denominator? All three are pot stocks. Why are they all dumping when all the chat rooms and everybody's telling you to buy them? Because Canada is going to legalize weed and all these things are going to go to the moon. If that's the case, and I should buy them now, why are these three stocks today that are on the watch list dumping when they should be going up because everybody's telling me to go buy them because they're going to skyrocket? Well, buy the rumor, sell the news. Chat rooms pump up stocks. They sucker you newbies in because you don't know support and resistance. They sell, they make their money. You cry and bag hold on the way down. Then they go back and they repump it again. And then you get hope again. You don't sell because you want to actually make money. And then they screw you again. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And here you go. This is why we tell people, again, people will say, don't worry about it. An industry like pot stocks, you don't have to worry about support and resistance because they're going to be great long term. Well, look, pumps all the way up. You newbies are bag holding and getting screwed here. All the way back down. Pump it back up here. You newbies are getting screwed up here because what you see here is what? What do you see? These lines here. Those lines are resistance. Chat rooms, pump up service, people that are pumping up these penny stocks and in these sectors, they know you don't know support and resistance. Those chat rooms are down here buying. They pump it up. They sucker you in up here. They sell up here. You get caught. They let price come back down here. And maybe next week, next month, whatever, they're going to pump it back up again. Again, not saying ACBFF won't be good long term, but ACBFF has support and resistance levels like every other stock. Price goes up, hits resistance, comes back down. So here we go. 3 pot stocks on our watch list, dumping today because what? People are taking profit. CAN, another one. Look. CAN. This is just a garbage company anyway. CAN, just go do your research on it. Bunch of name changes, crappy company. Again, CAN, pot stock, it runs when it runs, but look, CAN was $64 way back in 2013. So look what they right here. A bunch of newbies got caught in the hype of pot stock getting pumped, put their life savings over here, and now meanwhile 5 years later they've lost their life savings. And chances are they're probably never going to get it back. Right? Garbage company. Look at completely garbage chart. But what will happen is you're a newbie, right? You're at work, you're talking to your coworkers, your friends, your relatives, and they're saying, and you're looking at these news and saying, hey, pot stocks getting legalized, buy them now. And you're like, okay, what can I do? Well, let me, I can't afford one of the great pot stocks. Like, let's look at, what was it? What the heck was the name of that company? Actually, but what was it? Oh, I meant to, sorry for you guys. I meant to not, I'm turning chat off on the YouTube. Carlos, come and join us in our regular room. I don't know. I forgot to turn off chat here. We do all our chat in our regular trading room here. It gets a little distracting to do it both in a trade room and on YouTube. So guys, yeah, sorry. I'm just, ranting about pot stocks. I'll get off that train. I just want to show you guys support and resistance. So now as I'm ranting about CAN, right, and all these pot stocks, look over here, and now we go back. Oh, I'm still on CAN, actually. Here we go. Now we have a new pattern. We see support, right? Look at this. We have a new pattern right here and right here. What do you guys see here? What is this pattern? Boom, 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 boom. Let's go over to our course right up here if you're new. And you're going to see over here, right down over here, you're going to see, here we go, double bottoms. A bottom here, a bottom here. This is a potential reversal pattern. I say potential because you got to go and then do support and resistance. You can see a bottom and a bottom. And now you can see this neckline right here. No coincidence, right near previous close, is a price of potential breaking of resistance. Buyers are coming in here. This may be setting up for reversal. Now, price needs to get above this level here to continue, and then you have resistance up here. So now here's support right down here in that 377 level. Needs to break above this previous close. And then if it does, needs to get above 430. There is a 17 cents, 413 to 430. You have, if a price can get above this level, potentially 17 cents to run. So again, this may be a reversal pattern where the buyers may be coming in. Another one might be, let's see. Let's see here. Let's look at A&W real quick. Now, A&W is not going to be one that you can short with Thinkorswim, and it might be a challenge with other brokers because it's really kind of small, maybe Interactive Brokers, but I want to just show you guys a pattern. As we've been talking, A&W has a clear pattern. It's a bear flag, right? Let's draw these lines over here. It's a bear flag. Price is failing, moving back to these moving average lines. So it is a bear flag. If you were to take a short, if price starts failing down here, it's a potential short. But look, there's not a lot of room. You can see some support right around 96 cents. So if it fails right up at 102 down to 96 cents, that's only what, 6 cents, right? So you can see a clearly defined pattern, but not a lot of money to make, you know, potential to make before it hits support. Again, want to show you guys the patterns. Go back to ACBFF again. You guys see now it's 10:15, and now the patterns are forming. Right now, the ones from the watch list today are very bearish. And we haven't seen many dip buy opportunities, but we can see patterns and we can say, okay, right down over here, you can see some support right down around that $7.06 to $7 range. Price, what did it do? It fell, kind of bear. It's kind of a choppier bear flag, but now it's falling here. And as you can see, it is doing a kind of potential bear flagish pattern here. So now price is heading up right up here to these moving average lines. If it fails these moving average lines and there's a smaller candlestick, that's a potential short. You can't short with Thinkorswim on this. But again, what you would look at is if it rejects these moving average lines, if you were able to short and you wanted to take a short, you can short near these resistance levels and look down at these levels as covering, right? Short, short, spot, sell high, buy low to cover. Can, now go back to can, again, support level, right up here, resistance, double bottom, price is moving up. Look, it rejects off this 9 EMA. So now you're like, well, it's hitting an area of resistance, right? It needs to get above this area. Right below $4, no coincidence. That's a whole dollar amount. So now, if you were to look at this one as a potential short, you can see right here, this candlestick right here, you could potentially say, right here, 398 down to 391. That's a 7-cent candle. It's right near the moving average lines. If this were to fail, if you were to take this trade, you can see there is a bear flag. Again, I'm showing you all these things on what to look at, but there's still, again, I don't know what this stock is going to do. Nobody knows what this stock is going to do. A newbie can come in and completely screw this all up. They could make a trade and buy 50,000 shares in their brokerage account, completely blow it up, buying by accident, and this thing could go up as it's looking a little bit bearish. Or somebody can do the opposite, sell something crazy or whatever, and it can change the pattern. So the only thing you can do is you need to be able to find these patterns, support resistance, determine your risk management, and then decide if you're going to take the trade. You can see here, double bottom, potentially bullish. Price is near these moving average lines. There is a bear flag here. You have a 7-cent candle. It's failing below these moving average lines below $4. If you were to take a potential short on this, you could short, if the price breaks below this candlestick here, looking at these areas to cover, using a close below here as your stop. If the pattern went against you and you shorted and then price went above, you can use a close above this candlestick as your stop. Again, trades go against you all the time. Not saying to trade this, I'm just showing you guys the patterns. Right now, it's in a decision mode, right? It's trading in this channel over here. Cron, let's go over to Cron. So Cron, I'm going to remove these drawings again. Cron now has, again, showing you guys from earlier, a double top, right? That's a bearish pattern. You can see this line, that orange dotted line, that is previous close. I put a line across here. That's a double top. Price now failed that this morning. That's bearish, right? You can see the bear flag, and now it's kind of moving up here. So now what's happened? That double top with this neckline, that neckline is now resistance because it was support. It failed support. Now it's resistance. At this point, you come in, and now the market's been open. What do you see here? And what do you see here? Exactly what you see over here. Double bottom, and now you have these lines over here that you draw right above, kind of above this, right? This area here is that neckline of the double bottom. So this may be trying to reverse. It has these areas of resistance, and this is where you would, kind of keep an eye on it. I don't know what the stock is going to do. Nobody knows, but you can see clear support right here, clear support, resistance levels, and then you determine your risk management. On both of these right now, very risky, right? Lots of overhead resistance, trapped right around here, but we're showing patterns, right? You need to be able to identify these patterns So then you're able to identify your risk, right? If you're going to take a trade on something, you need to be able to see what these patterns are doing, look at these moving average lines, and determine if you're going to make a trade. Right now, when I'm looking at these, I wouldn't necessarily take a trade. It's caught up between moving average lines, and it's a little bit messy. But now as I'm looking at those, I have my other screen up over here, and now I'm going to pull up one that is A&W. So now, A&W, let's go back and let's zoom in over here. A&W, still this bear flag. It may be looking a little bit more interesting, I'm saying. It may be trying to get above these moving average lines, or it may fail, but you can see this bear flag's kind of moving up. If it starts getting above these moving average lines, you know, it might be, maybe this bear flag then turns into a different pattern like a cup, and maybe that cup wants to break out. So I'd keep more of an eye on this until these moving average lines fail. If they start to fail, then it's bearish and you're looking at a bear flag pattern. ACBFF. So right now, not really. I would keep an eye again. I have it on a separate screen. Nothing great. ACBFF. Back over here. Pot stock. What do you guys see here? Bear flag. Doji candle right below the 9 EMA. Price is having a difficult time getting above that. So now, if you were to look for a potential short on this, you can say, okay, I'll draw my lines at this doji candle. That's a 735 down to 723, a little bit more than I want, 12-cent candle. So that's a 12-cent candle. You can see some support down around, 7 to 705. So now at that point, if it starts failing 722, let's say down to 705, that's what, about 7. I have a chance to make potentially 17 cents or more. And to do that, I'm risking, let's say, 735 down to 712 cents. So again, that's the pattern maybe one I'd look to trade, but then I'm like, well, I'm risking almost the same as much as I could make. Is that a wise decision? I don't know. It's a little bit riskier, right? You want to have at least that 2-to-1 reward ratio. Now, look over here. Back over here at CAN, the bear flag starting to fail. Now you can say, am I going to take a short on this? It rejected $4 twice. Now it's failing, $3.90 down to $3.77. There's a potential to make 13 cents. This candle at $3.96 down to $3.93. So I'm risking 6 cents per se to be able to make whatever I just said. 13. It is a 2-to-1 ratio, right? So then you can say, okay, I'm determining here what I potentially short here. You could possibly take a short, right? Again, it could go against you. A trade at any moment could always go against you. That's the reality of trading. Okay. You guys see? Very similar pattern. Bear flag. It's failing. This could easily go against you and close back above here, but that's why you would manage your risk, right? Let's pull up, I have A&W again. I want to take a look at that one. You guys see A&W is still slowly creeping up over these moving average lines. Needs to get above that 50 SMA And then you can say, okay, if this thing starts to close above that 50 SMA, maybe I'd look at it a little bit closer. Maybe this is reversing and going to be bullish. So you can see it's slowly grinding above these moving average lines. You want to see it get above that 50. Then you have, 111 up to 119, 8 cents. Again, not a lot of movement, but it's a cheap stock. What if you got 5 cents, right? You're able to, again, just determine your risk management. Is it worth it to you? Again, I don't love the pattern, but those are the things that you would look at, right? Let me see what you're saying. Lucian, why is your at $4 on ACBFF and mine is at 731 average? I don't know what you're meaning by that. Let me see. I'm trying to see where you're looking at the at $4. Great job, David. Leco, I'm trying to understand what you're saying, but I don't really understand what you mean by that. Maybe you can clarify. It's your can screen. Sorry. Oh, okay. As Dan would say, user error. Oh, boy. All right, so now let's go over to AXON. So AXON on the watch list. Now I'm gonna look at this. It's not only been on the watch list, people have been looking at it, trade ideas. Now I kind of zoom in and I'm like, okay, maybe something's gonna go on here. 607 resistance right here. You guys see here? There's some support right down over here. Kind of trading sideways, but kind of zoom in a little bit and you can see a bottom here. What is this? A bottom here, bottom here. My tool is not working. Double bottom. It's now moving above this area right here, that 588. It's still struggling. So now, all right, there's some support. Needs to get above that 587 area. And now that 6 to 607 area is very, very important to watch, right? So now it's one to keep an eye on, right? This may be trying to reverse to go and break out above that 607 pre-market high. If it does, and it breaks above 607, you want to see it hold. It's showing some back and forth resistance right now. So this is where I would then start showing and zooming in on the 1 minute. And now you can kind of see, all right, this is a double bottom right here. Needed to get above this area. Price is going. What did it do here? Broke above it. Now it's pulling back. Now what's it going to do? Is it going to bull flag and go up? It's right over here, that 588 to 609 marker. You guys see the patterns? If it breaks above this area, you want to see it hold. But that's not always a failure. You can see a cup, maybe a handle, and then maybe it's going to hold the moving average lines and break out. Again, if you're looking for me to tell you what the stock is going to do, I can't, and no trading company on the planet can tell you what this is going to do. But you can look at the patterns, support, and resistance and determine, your risk management if this is a trade of something that you'd like to take. Right now, it's a bit difficult to trade this one. Right below $6, right below 607 high, right? Needs to get above, these areas right here and break above to continue. Now let's go back over to HTBX. We're gonna leave. I'm gonna leave AXON up for a moment. I'm gonna move that over here. These pot stocks are looking like garbage today because the majority of them are garbage. And you can see the pattern, right? Double bottom goes up. Now you have this kind of this shooting star, spinning top-ish, indecision, right? So now it's failing this high of the day, which failed this pre-market high. So now it's this indecision phase, right? You know, so you can see a pattern, but then you have prices dealing with these wicks. Needs to get above these wicks areas. There you go. So that's, keep an eye on this. But see right that it goes up, comes back down, right? These wicks then translate right here. You go to a AXON long 479 out 592. Wow, when did you get into that red? Was that yesterday? Let's see. Were you holding overnight on the Axon red? That's ballsy, that's for sure. 479, let me see. So red said he was in 479, out 592. 479. Dang, I don't know. Did he get in pre-market? Red, when did you get in on it? This morning pre-market or hold from yesterday? Oh, okay, this is what I'm going to pull up. HTBX. Red, I'm a little confused. AXON. How'd you get in at 479 a few minutes ago? It wasn't at 479. That's weird. HTBX. Let's pull this one up. This one was on the watch list. So now you can see this one falling, was bear flagging. Now look at it. Now it's creeping to this orange line. What is that orange line? Previous close. Now you got to say, okay, what's going on with this one? Possibly, again, an ascending triangle, right? Draw that line. That orange line right here is a top area, right? And now you can draw your line down over here. Kind of like that a little bit, right? So now you have a pattern, an ascending triangle, which says, okay, higher lows are being formed. This previous close, very important resistance level. Price needs to get above it. So not only does it now need to get above previous close and 292, it's going to contend with $3. So this may be a bullish pattern, may want to break out, but be aware there's this area of overhead resistance. That previous close 287 to $3, it's going to have some strong resistance at $3. So even though this is a bullish pattern, you know, then you got to determine your risk. Is it worth taking a trade on this if it breaks above with, 12 or 13 cents resistance? If you were to take a trade like this and it breaks above, then a close below previous close would be a potential warning sign to get out, right? Great job, David. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. Sorry, Red, not to call you out, not to put you on blast. Okay, so Red was in at 579, out at 593. Fantastic trade. Is it as much as the other one? No, but hey, great trade. 14 cents. Guys, it's the 10, 15, 20 cents that add your brokerage accounts up. Do you guys think that the best traders in the world are making $1 on every single trade? Absolutely not. They make maybe a handful of those a month, and they're making their wins on 10, 15, and 20 cents, daily wins. And then when they get their losses, they're losing 3 cents, 4 cents, 5 cents, 6 cents. They're not losing 50 cents and $1 on their trade. They're managing their risk. Good to hear, David. You're doing great, man. Another advice to you newbies that are listening is if you're paper trading, one of the most important things you can do is treat your paper trading account like you would exactly 100% a real account. It's great if you get $1 million or $100,000 in your paper trading account. But if you're making, if you took your $100,000 trading account and turned it into $200,000, no offense, great job, but you're never going to do that in a real world until you're able to do that with realistic positions. If you had $100,000 in your account now, you're probably not going to take $100,000 and $50,000 trades, right? You might take a $5,000 or $10,000 trade and try to make 10, 15, 20 cents. So what I'm saying to you guys is this. If you believe when you're going to trade with real money that you're going to trade in 1,000 share blocks, then do not trade more than 1,000 share blocks in your virtual account. Don't take 5,000 and 10,000 positions, because you will never trade with 5,000 and 10,000 positions in your real account until you're successful with 1,000 share blocks, because the moment you start trading with real money, your emotions will go absolutely crazy, right? Trading's all about the emotions. It's not the technicals. Anybody can learn the technicals if they put the work in. It's the emotions. So you have to become successful in a paper trading account first, and then scare your way up with real money. So if you're listening and you're trading in a virtual account and you're trading with bigger blocks of shares than you would in a real account, stop immediately and go to the exact share position that you would in a real account if you were trading live, and use your exact stop loss areas that you would use in a real account. So if you're giving yourself no stops in a virtual account, if you're giving yourself big stop areas, 25, 50 cents, stop immediately and start treating your virtual account exactly like you would a real account. And then if you start having success that way, then you do that for a consistent period of time, 60 to 65% win ratios, minimizing your losses, track your trades. And once you're successful doing that consistently over 2 to 3 months with real trading it like you would a real account, and then when you want to scale up to real money, if you're going to trade 1,000 share blocks with real money and you're transitioning from a virtual account, do not start with 1,000 share blocks with real money going from a virtual account. You will freak out like most people, and it will put you in panic mode. Start with 100 shares, right? So if you're looking to make 10 cents on each trade, start with 100 share blocks and say, okay, if I make 10 cents on 100 shares, you're going to make $10. Big deal. You're not trying to make a ton of money at first. You have to see if you can trade with real money at first and deal with the emotions. So you would basically say, okay, that 10 cents would have been 10 cents on 1,000, but that's okay. So your goal at first might be I make 10 cents on 100 share block. That'll cover my trade. If a broker charges $5 in and out, now that $10, your goal should be at first, cover your commission fee on each trade. If you do that for a week or two and you're really comfortable doing 100 share blocks, bump it up to 250. Make that same 10 cents. Now you're making your commission fees plus a little bit more. Are you going to make a lot of money in your brokerage account? No, right? You're not going to make money in your brokerage account, but you will never be able to make money in your brokerage account until you can do this process. Then when you're successful with 250 share blocks, you go to 500. If you can do the same thing now, instead of making $10, you made 50, right? If you do that consistently, then you move up to 1,000. Now you're making the $100 on 1,000. And then you can determine, okay, I might trade in more blocks, or I might want to try to get bigger wins. But again, make sure your losses or you have at least a 2-to-1 profit loss ratio. So if your goal is to make 10 cents on every trade, then never risk more than 5. And here we go. So this is interesting on Acon. Now it gets a little bit more interesting, right? The double bottom. Still, these candles are choppy in a 5-minute, but now I have a pattern. I can see a top right here. So at this point, you kind of have a triple top, right? So now we got to then start removing some of these lines and say, okay, is there a new pattern here? And you can say, well, there actually may be a new pattern, and this may be an ascending triangle. Look at it's right at that 607. Draw these lines over here. And now you might be having an ascending triangle. If this price breaks out over 607, you want to see it break and hold. You guys see these patterns? Higher lows being formed. You have a clearly defined top. Now you have to see, if you are bullish on this, you want to see it break out above 607. And if it breaks out, you want to see 607 hold. And then you need to find out what's the next resistance level after 607. And I mean, this thing can go to no man's land. You know, this thing could fly or it could die. I mean, this chart is crap. Look at this. This chart is crap. It's absolute garbage, but it could fly or it can dump. That's where you have to look at the patterns, determine your risk, and say, okay, if you took a trade like this, right now the entry, very choppy on these candlesticks, right? You ideally want to buy near support. If you're buying at these tops, you know, it's risky because if you start buying right here and think it's going to break above, if it doesn't, this 607 could easily go back down to right here. So there you go. It's breaking now. Now you want to see it hold. 607 has to hold. Goes up, right? Comes back down. Now here's where we start to transition and go to a 1 minute, right? So we're looking at the 5 minute, the pattern's going. Now we look at the 1 minute. You had that one little bull flag right here, broke out. Now it needs to hold. Watch if there's a retest and continues right here. Now you have your 1 minute candle. If it pulls back, 607 has to hold. And it needs to break above 616. Support, resistance. There you go. Lucian IQ review, please. Let me see. I don't know what that means. Is that, you want me to look at the stock IQ? Is that what you're saying? Let me pull up if that's what you're referring to. There we go. So here we go, guys. So you had that one bull flag, breaks out. Now here we go. Now newbies, pay attention. This is your perfect trap. You're going to hear people saying stock's breaking out. Woohoo, let me get on Nixon. Well, not so fast. You have to get in and look at the pattern, realize that it's overextended. You want to watch for pullbacks, and you don't just buy at tops. You got to see the patterns, right? So now we got to see, let's look at the 5 minute again. At this point, it's a big red green candlestick. You have to be careful. I'd watch for a little bit of a pullback to one of these areas, see if it bull flags and continues, because it could easily go on a 1 minute. This could bull flag here and continue, or it could easily, boom, go and dump. Jay, are you saying you want me to look at IQ as a stock and review for you? I'm not sure. Let me look if that's what he's referring to. All right, so IQ, I know nothing about what this stock is. I initially am looking at IQ and I'm like, well, it doesn't really have a history. I know nothing what the stock is. I can see a pattern of this big long candlestick wick. That concerns me, right? So you can see potentially it's harder to draw. You can kind of see, well, you know, is this a pennant, right? Possible pennant. This would concern me a lot, right? So you can see potentially a bull pennant, but it has to break out. And it's got to contend with that 3240 in this range right here. Concerns me it doesn't have much of a history. And again, I know nothing about the stock. So fundamentally, I know nothing about it because I'm not a fundamental trader. I'm a technical trader. So, but I can see support and resistance. Very overextended on the daily. These candlesticks are worrisome. You can see a pattern. When price gets in these triangles, it gets very tricky and very choppy, as you can see. So hopefully that helps you if you're talking about IQ for a stock. And so at this point, guys, now you're seeing a pullback here on AXON, right? So now you got to look here and see, okay, let's look at the pattern. Has another bull pennant, right? So at this point, you want to see price break out above this bull pennant and get above 624. So now it is in this bull pennant. You now need to see, is price going to go and break out of this pennant? Newbies, if you're saying, well, oh, you said Big Bear, Lucian, I think IQ is the Netflix of China. Well, that's cool. Good to know. I know nothing about it. All I know is the charts. Super overextended, needs to break out of that bull pennant. Now look at this, guys. Bull pennant. What do you see over here? Bull pennant. Right? Price in bull pennants gets choppy. Look, price in bull pennants gets choppy. You need to see it break out and hold. There you go. Now it needs to go. Is the retest going to happen right over here at 623? So at this point, it breaks out. Watch if there's a retest. Support and resistance, people. Support and resistance. When a stock breaks resistance, it then becomes support. So now this is getting a little bit mad. So you can see it on a 1 minute. Let's take a look, and then you zoom in on a 5 minute. And so now here you go, right? So now on a 5 minute, right now it's showing a potential doji, but it hasn't formed yet. Right? So price broke out of this big candlestick, but again, price could easily give back its gains here, or it could easily continue up. At this point, you want to see it, if you're bullish on it, stay above this 624 and continue. If it starts failing 624 and falling, this could easily give back a lot of its gains. You have to be able to look at the patterns. Chris says, CMEG seems too good to be true. Has Bullish Bears done a review on this broker yet? Very curious about them. I have not. I don't use CMEG. Dan seems to really love them. Dan knows a little bit more about CMEG. Again, we're using them. We're not getting paid from them, but we have an affiliate program. So, you know, I don't know how it works, but I know we get paid. Like if people sign up through them and stuff, they have an affiliate thing. Like kind of same thing with Trade Ideas. You guys sign up with Trade Ideas with us, they give us a cut, just like any affiliate company on the planet. So we're not pumping them up just to pump them up. Dan's having good success with them. I don't use CMEG, so I'm not really familiar with them. I think there's goods with them and goods with SureTrader. Again, Dan seems to be having success. I would shoot Chris. Shoot us an email at, let me put an email right here. Put bbteam at bullishbears.com. Why the heck? Dan, dang it. I got to tell Dan to, guys, for whatever reason, these links, I think Dan forgot to put, I got to tell Dan to put the links back. For some reason, they're not working in the chat room. I got to fix that. Can you turn links back on in trade room? I'll put thanks, buddy. Right? Don't want to sound bossy. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Yeah, Dan's been liking CMEG Group. I don't use them. I use Thinkorswim for charting. I freaking love their charting. I like interactive brokers to trade. But again, when I'm teaching you guys, again, I say it over and over. When I'm teaching you guys, I'm not trading. I can't. You see how way too distracted I am. I can't focus. So I'm either teaching you guys or trading. And at this point, if I'm trading, then I'm not teaching you guys. And so that's what I'm doing. All right, so now looking over, I'm going to get rid of IQ. And now I'm going to go back over here and kind of show you guys. Let's take a look at a few things and I'll wrap it up. So at this point, Axon, that's right. Let's go back over to AXON. So yeah, Chris, just shoot us an email, put attention to Dan and ask him about CMEG or whatever. I'm sure there's goods and bads like any other broker, but he seems to be having some success. All right, so here was pre-market high right over here for AXON, 607. You saw a double bottom pattern, very choppy in these 5-minute candles. Again, you know, it was a little bit risky to take. Maybe down here you would have potentially taken a trade if you wanted to in anticipation of a break. But at this point, so now it gets getting crazy right now, right? So you can see this big green candle back here. Now you have this indecision candle. That indecision candle usually many times means a pullback, right? A reversal, but look what happens, right? Many a times it'll show a potential reversal and then it'll go up, right? But you can see 629 down to 611. That's an 18-cent candle that you're risking on. It gets a little bit risky, right? But you can see support right over here at 612 and 629. 629 is now the new support. So when you start trading something like this, if you take a trade, you have to be well aware of this candlestick 624 down to 580. That's a 42-cent candle. This one right here, 629 down to 612, 17 cents. Be aware of the risk. That's what I'm trying to tell you, newbies. You don't just buy these things. You have to look at the patterns first and see. Again, right here, this was an indecision that could go either way. It broke above. Now at this point, you can see, okay, 628, very important support level. It is very overextended. If you're new at this point, you don't chase it. You have to watch for a pullback to get another entry. This one is, again, this wasn't very clear. It's not a clear, you could have said maybe down over here taking a trade, but you still would have been, what is that, 455? Not bad. You may have taken a potential risk to say, okay, this is a 10-cent candle. I'm going to get in at a break above in anticipation of a break of a high a day. These candles would have been very risky, spinning top, very bit of a risk. So your really potential was right over here. And then over here, if you wanted to get in here, again, it's getting a bit risky. So at this point, if you're to trade it, you want to watch for a bull flag pullback that looks clear and see if you're going to get an entry. Osen Gum says, wow, what a freaking ride. Got into AXON yesterday afternoon with 325 shares at 374 a pop for 1,215 total. Got out today with more than 800 in gains. That is phenomenal. Amazing job. Again, I don't know if that's real money or paper or whatever, but you know, sometimes people will hold if they get a good entry for the next day. Just be careful if you're trading real money on crappy pump and dump stocks, that, you know, make sure you take your profits, right? We're very hesitant to ever tell anybody to swing trade these small caps unless they know exactly what they're doing, because these things pump and then they dump. Here we go. There's Dan. Dan, I don't know if he's on Messenger. Dan, some peeps have some questions about CMEG in her. All right. So, I don't know if Dan's listening right now, if he's on mobile, what he's doing, but ask him now. Well, you see him about CMEG. Garbage, Big Bear. Garbage. Garbage stocks. Look at this. Garbage. AXON. Piece of garbage. I don't know the stock, but I can see the chart. It's absolute garbage. Doesn't mean it won't go up and you can make some money on it, but you know, if you don't catch this stock down here, what happens? It hits trade ideas and then it attracts the traders for a couple days and then it's going to dump. I'll guarantee you this stock is going to dump at some point. It may fly all the way up here and then sucker all you newbies, right? You can see this thing flying up to $24. You guys all get the news. Hey, I got to put $20,000 into AXON, and then now you're going to see all the trade rooms dumping it, and then you're holding a $24 stock and you have 24 grand in it, and meanwhile it dumps back down to $5. I'm not saying it's going to do that. That's what these garbage stocks do. They trap you newbies. That's why you have to learn patterns. Good job, Leco. Let the patterns play out. Right now, price broke up. It's pulling back, retesting. So it broke resistance, retesting support. Watch if it bull flags and continues. Now at this point, 650 is resistance and 628 is support. Again, be aware, overextended. It could go up or it could go down. You know, but you can see this is an indecision candle. It broke out. Bears came back in trying to push it down. Now you got to watch what's it going to do. Be aware. Look at all these wicks and shadows. This has been a crazy one today. That's where, again, if you're looking at a 5-minute chart, maybe difficult to trade. If you zoom into a 1 o'clock or 1 minute chart, then you see, okay, look at this. A little bit easier, you know, getting nearer to these moving average lines. But it's a whipsaw, seesaw today. But as you can see here on the 1 minute chart, still no 1 minute candle close below the 9. Right? So if you got in, you know, keep an eye on this ride the 9 strategy. Lucian, thanks for helping to manage my expectations, knowing that 20 cents a share is a good gain versus waiting for stock price to reach over $1 or more before taking process. Bella Bear, that is probably one of the most important things that you can really take in. It's not me. We're just trying to help you guys. Is that, again, do we all want to make $1,000 a day? Of course. Right? Do we all want to make $1 a share? Of course. Who the heck doesn't? But first of all, if you're trading with real money, if you're in 1,000, think about this, right? If you're new, think about this for a moment, right? You're going to buy in 1,000 share blocks. You want to have that $1,000 gain, right? But if you're new, and let's say you luckily got into a trade just blindly, and now you bought 1,000 shares and you're up $450, do you think you're going to have the courage to hold to $1 and give up that $450 gain? No, you're going to panic and you're probably going to take your profits. And then you're going to kick yourself afterwards saying it went to $1. I could have made 1,000 instead of 450. And then it's going to mess with your head, right? But you still made $450. These wins add up. Again, you will never make $1,000 a day. Every single day, even if you're the best traders in the world, because there will be days that you will take a $250 or a $300 loss, and there'll be other days you make $1,000 or $1,500 or $200 a day. But before you even think about making $1,000 a day, you need to make $50 a day, $100 a day, $200 a day. Remember, $200 a day is what, over a $50,000 a year income. If you had $50,000 a year onto your income, making $200 a day. That ain't so shabby. 50,000 grand a year in your account extra is a lot of money to most people. Right? So yeah, 20 cents a share in a day, that's what happens. You think these big gurus are making $1 on every trade? No. They're coming in, they're taking their $100,000 brokerage account, and they're going for, they're buying 10,000 shares, and they're making 10 cents on that trade, and they make their $1,000. They're in and out within a couple minutes. Many of times, they have a $100,000 brokerage account. They're buying 10,000 shares of a company. They make their 10 or 15 cent scalp. They make their $1,000, their $1,500. I don't trade in those share positions, by the way, so I don't have that big of a brokerage account. But that's what they do. They're not buying 1,000 shares and holding for $1 and making $1,000. They're buying 5 and 10,000 shares. They make 10 and 15 cents. They use their big brokerage accounts to make huge gains by making they're making huge gains by making small profitable trades of 10 and 15 cents. Meanwhile, you're a newbie, all right? I'm not saying everybody. Anybody that's listening is a newbie, does not have $100,000. Chances are you're probably lucky if you have over $10,000. You might only have $5,000. And now when you buy 1,000 shares and you make the same 10 cents as that top guru, you're making $100 and they make 1,000. You made the same profitable trade. They just had more money in their account to do it. So don't fool yourself thinking that, the gurus are necessarily that much better and so much more heroic because they have more, making more on the trade. They might make the same 10 cents as you. They just have a bigger brokerage account to do it. So don't get caught up in all the hype and the allure of making $1,000 a day. Start small, grind, learn how to do it, be patient, be a part of our community, talk to people, practice, and really get comfortable. And then eventually, you'll slowly build up your account. Right? But think about it. If I have $100,000 in my brokerage account and I bought 10,000 shares of AXON and I made 10 cents, I made $1,000. If you bought 1,000 shares, made the same 10 cents, you made 100. We both made the same successful trade. I just had more money in my brokerage account than you. Does that make me any better than you? No. This means I just had more money. Right? So that's the game, right? But then what will happen is, along the lines, you're going to get the perfect setup at times. And maybe a couple times a month, the setup will be so perfect where you get the entry and you can ride the 9, right? Ride the 9 strategy. This is not a great one right now, but maybe let's say you got a good entry back here and you can ride the 9 like Dan teaches for $1 profit. You do that once or twice a month. Now you bought the same 10,000 shares. You rode the 9 for $1. That's a $10,000 win. Boom. There you go. Again, the gurus are not making $10,000 wins on every trade. They make their $1,000 a day goal and they have a few, $5,000 or $10,000 wins, occasional $25,000 or $50,000 win. But they're making their money on their $1,000 days, which is an equivalent to a newbie of $100 or a $200 day, right? Their equivalent of their $1,000 a day is the equivalent of most newbies, $100 or $200 a day. So start small, make your $100 to $200 a day, and eventually over time you grow your brokerage account. And then you can buy more shares. That might take you months. That might take you years. If you have 5,000 in your account, you're not going to get 100,000 in your brokerage account for a long time. You can get there, but it might take you a few years of grinding out, making 10 cents a day, making your $100 and $200 shares, or buying your $100, $200 shares and grinding it out, making thousands of trades, making 10, 15, 20 cents, and then you grow it that big. But you're not going to get it taking your $5,000 account and making 95 grand, buying random shares of Axon and praying it goes up and that you're going to make $2 on it and make $1,000, $2,000 days. That's not going to happen. You have to grind it out and, make those small wins, let them add up, have patience, and then you'll get there. If you bust your butt for years, look at thousands of charts, make hundreds and thousands of trades, practice, stay disciplined, limit your losses, limit your risk, and grind. All right? Well, so here you go. Today, that's weird. I thought our trade alert sucked. So in essence, I consider today our trade alert sucking because I haven't showed. I'm shocked that they're triggering like this today because I didn't feel like any of them went off. But let's take a look at a couple of these other ones. I'll look some of the swing trade ones real quick and then I'll wrap it up. BA, that was Boeing. Shout out to whoever was telling me this on the video yesterday, but you got to be quick, right? I made the watch this video last night. All right, so BA, someone said to take a look at it because you can see again, cup, handle breakout or handle pullback, look for a breakout. What did it do? It did break out today. So now you got to say, all right, good job, Bullish Bears. Woohoo, you guys went up 371 to 375. Well, awesome. I could have made $4 or what is that? Almost $4 in that trade. Well, not so fast. This thing happened so fast and then it dumped. You would have never been able to take this trade, right? So it went up, great, made $4, but that's why we tell you newbies, do not buy something on our alerts just because they go off. You have to look at the pattern setup, and you would have had to been so quick if you got right up over here and you were so quick. So perfect example, you go in at work, price breaks over here, right here. By the time you buy this options contract, you go to work, you have your team meeting at work, go use the bathroom, grab a coffee, you're yeehaw, and then you come back, boom. Now you just went up real quick, and now it dumped on you. Now, uh-oh, that ain't good. That's why you have to know the patterns, right? Pattern sucks on this intraday. So great, you could have done it. You could have day traded this, saw this pattern, looked for the reversal, and made some good money and got out. But pattern right now, risky. Cup and handle breaks out. It broke resistance, comes back, retests. Now it's failing. Now here you go, choppiness. Perfect example, alert goes off. Now it's failing. Intraday pattern wasn't good. So that one, I wouldn't have taken it. Hog did this. Hog, I was kind of a double bottom, looking for it to break out, and I had it at or above 42.94. So look at this. Hog did. It went up to 43.94. Well, look at, no, here it goes right here. That was pre-market. Hog, look at this. Quick pop up, dumped. It's crap right now. Doesn't mean it won't go up. Doesn't mean it can't go up, but it pumped up, broke resistance, failed. Now it's choppy, not looking so hot. It's got a ways to go. So I can look right here. Right here, I can see a clearly defined top. I can draw and find my patterns, and I can say, well, right here, well, it broke a trend line over here, but now maybe I can look over here and see, okay, well, will it hold over here? Will it turn into an ascending triangle and continue, or is it just going to dump and fail? At this point, it's not looking so hot. CBRE. CBRE at or above 48.06. And what did it do? Went up to 48.28, and then it's done nothing. So you can see the intraday patterns sucks. It's terrible right now. But look what's happening. Price is in the middle of an ascending triangle. Gets messy in these ascending triangles. So again, just because the alert went off doesn't mean you get in. But if you do, be aware. You can see it's in this ascending triangle. It hasn't really broken out yet, right? So you got to see it break above that 48.44 and continue. Not so hot right now. Will it be better tomorrow or next week? Maybe. I don't know. No one knows. No one can tell you. If you're looking for somebody to tell you what the stock's going to do, nobody can do it. Nobody on this planet, unless they have insider information is going to be able to tell you what it's going to do. So at this point, you got to look at the patterns, see what's happening, look at the setup. Thank you, P. Denny. Lucian, what an excellent trader you are. My education's really been accelerating since discovering Bullish Bears. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, P. Denny. That makes my day. I am less crabby today than I was yesterday. DRI. Again, double bottom. Bottom here, bottom here. Resistance up in here. So this one right here with DRI at or above 90.91. Wow. Look at how much of a hero I am. That went up to 92.98. But look. So there we go. I look like a hero. $2. But no, look. It didn't do nothing. It tanked. Look. So it went up pre-market. It opened higher. But what did it do when it opened? Bada boom. Dropped. Bada boom. Trading sideways. So great. It went up, but the pattern sucks. So you're looking at these trades. They're awful right now. So you can say, well, Lucian, you suck. This is a terrible watch list. And I can say, well, thank you. But at the same time, you can't predict what a stock's going to do. Some of these can be in play. Some of them can't be. And you can say, well, why did you pick terrible trades today? And then I could say, well, let's go take a look at the market today. Well, no wonder why Lucian's trades suck today. We have a big doji being formed on the futures right below resistance. Indecision, doji candle. Well, no crap that these stocks are going to suck. And most stocks are going to suck today because there's this doji, indecision. It's not clearly going up or clearly going down. You have a doji, which is going to affect most stocks. Hence, newbies, why I'm telling you, you have to know support and resistance. You have to know candlesticks. You have to know patterns. And you don't trade ever to just trade. And today was a day on my watch list was terrible. But if you know how to trade the other side of things, rather than going long, that's when you can learn how to short. Today was not a great dip buy day. It was not a great long day on my stocks, not a great dip buy day. Trade ideas, I haven't looked at it really. I traded ideas all morning. I'm sure there was stocks moving over there. Again, love trade ideas. Our favorite scanner. If you're a newbie, though, you're never going to be able to trade ideas until you can slow it down and learn these patterns first, get comfortable with the patterns, then go over to trade ideas. Trade ideas is a phenomenal complement. You have to be able to know the patterns and do these things first. So at this point, you could have maybe took it a couple of those bear flags I showed you guys earlier today, scalped it. It would have been a grind. What's going to happen tomorrow going into Friday? Friday is going to be more of a challenging day. Obviously, Fridays are a very challenging day. Indecision. Watch what this candlestick does, right? If it forms a doji at the end of the day today, then you can say, well, that might be a potential evening star pattern, which could potentially reverse. Or we might go to lunch. I'm going to go take a nap, maybe lay out. It's not really a great day. I can't get it lay out today. Maybe it'll go up and break resistance. So hence, today was a grind. Terrible setups. Watch lists were crappy. But that's what happens when you see this. Doji, indecision. Many of these stocks may still be in play. They may go up tomorrow. They may go up next week, or they could dump. Because you got to watch right here. What is the market going to do? Is it going to continue up, or is it going to go down, or is it going to do something like this? If you start seeing this again, trading sideways, then all of these and stocks are just going to get messy and bounce around. If the market takes off, some of these may take off more. If the market dumps, then probably many of these will just continue to dump. Oh, all right, guys. Red, have a great day. What do I got for you guys? That's what I got for you guys. We're $10 a month. I'll save my sales pitch for you guys. You can subscribe right over here. $10. Come and join us. Again, I was teaching you a whole different way today. Just went off and whatever hit me today and showed you what we're looking at. So right now, everything I was kind of talking about today was kind of duds, kind of garbage, kind of crappy. But in our trade room, I'm sure people were talking about stuff that were hitting trade ideas that were moving, right? Again, but you have to see all angles of things, right? You have to see the good with the bad, with also the messy. And today was one of those days that you're probably going to be like, depending on if you were my type of trader, right? If you were my style of trader, pattern trader. I am a pattern trader. As a pattern trader, this would have been a frustrating day. If I took a trade, right, I probably would have got frustrated with it. It would have been annoying because it just my stuff on my watch list was just too difficult to trade. But if I didn't trade, if I was disciplined, right? I'm disciplined. I look at this. Nothing hit my eye. I just sat back and I said, hey, you know what? Today's an indecision day. I'm not going to trade. And I accepted that. I accepted that it was a crappy day. I was okay with it. I didn't get emotional about it. I can go about my day and be happy. If I forced a trade, lost, got frustrated, now I'm going to get angry and frustrated, Tomorrow I'm going to want to chase and get it back. I'm going to make other poor decisions, and I get myself in a bad cycle mentally, and then I'm going to get in a losing cycle. Or as I can just say, here's my watch list. I'm a pattern trader. My patterns suck today. Does that mean I'm a sucky trader? No, it just means, again, the market is indecision. I'm not going to take a pattern trade. Meanwhile, I can go take a look at the trade room, and then I can say, well, someone like a David or a Dan or a hotkey person may have gotten in and made $1,000 today in 5 minutes. Hey, that just means, a 1 minute strategy and a quick scalp on a pump and dump worked for them better that day than me as a pattern trader. But tomorrow or next week, I might find the best setup on a 5 minute while somebody else in the trade room, maybe David or Dan or anybody else in the trade room, it's a hockey person, they get distracted by the pump and dump. I find a great setup on a pattern and I nail a trade for $1 and they just took a 20-cent loss on their pump and dump. It's a trade-off back and forth, right? Today may have gone better for them. Hey, there we go. An alert went off. HTBX. Yeah, maybe I could get something here. Let's see, HTBX. Let's see if that's decent before I take off. Yeah, I showed you guys earlier ascending triangle right here, and now you can kind of extend it out over, let's see here. You can kind of, it gets a little tricky and messy in here. I can kind of connect it a little bit, maybe like this. There you go. It needs to break above, go red to green. But again, just because it goes red to green and the alert goes off doesn't mean you trade it. Be aware of very important resistance at the top of this ascending triangle. Has to break out, has to get above 292 with resistance at $3. If you were to take a trade on this and it goes against you, this is a perfect stop loss area at the top of this ascending triangle. But be aware, there's not a lot of room. Watch for the patterns. So that's why that alert went off. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Enjoy. I'll probably come back and do a watch list video for you guys later. The good news, it'll probably be, there we go. Look at this. Here we go. So now it's breaking out a little bit on a 1 minute. Watch 292. See if it can break 292. So here you go. Price is now breaking out. Here we go. Let's just take a look. Technical analysis over and over and over. Breaks out of resistance. Green candlestick. Possible reversal. Does that mean it's going to crash? We don't know. This might be a temp. Look, say it's retesting. Resistance. Now support. Support has to hold. If it holds, it may be a bull flag and can continue. Or it might be a false breakout, falls back down into this ascending triangle again and gets messy again. Oh, all right. Tell your friends. Tell them to come join us. We want to keep things growing. We love having you guys. You have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will talk to you all later.